T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Good night, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Let's Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Maurice Franklin, and with me is one of our guests. But before he introduces himself, we'll have our guest from abroad, Miss Desi Brown, introduce herself and tell us about creative entrepreneurs in the creative sector. Desi, don't forget to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I thought by now I would have that down packed, but I'm guessing you can never always get it right. Thank you. Thank you, Maurice, for having me. And yes, I am from St. Kitts and Nevis. My name is Desi Brown. I am currently a creative enterprise entrepreneur. I run two businesses in the creative sphere. One being Poise SKN, which is a multidiscipline company offering services in dance, pageantry, and promotional marketing, as well as The Brown Pen, which actually offers services in creative consulting, offer creative consulting and solution services in the form of creative directing, creative activity and event production, as well as copywriting and copy audit services.
All right. Well, that was quite a mouthful. Thank you, Desi. And we'll move on next to Natasha. Miss Natasha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha Marks. I write as NC Marks. I'm the author of Plastered and Pretty.
Thank you, Natasha. And Sharika, could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, so good night, everyone. My name is Sharika Sayers, and I'm a fine artist here in St. Vincent, and my business is called Black Canvas Studios. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is available at Black Canvas Studios, where I produce realism paintings, drawings, so you can get portraits, landscapes, seascapes, anything fine arts-wise. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sharika. And Joy?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, IKTV, for having me, and thank you, Maurice. My name is Joy Paris. I am what am I? I like to consider myself a jack of all trades, but I am a full-time singer. I am a full-time musician, and I also have a band that I am launching here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines very soon.
Okay, and the gentleman sitting behind me, if he could just introduce himself.
Hi everyone, so I'm Tevin Bonnet. I'm a streetwear designer person of Being Black. I'm not sure if you guys know it, but I'm locally St. Vincent, and basically, thanks IKTV for having me.
Okay, thank you everyone. So tonight we'll start with your questions, and as you know, we want to encourage our audience to contribute tonight. All right. So this question is just for everyone, just for us to understand it's your source of stimulation, especially in the pandemic where things can become sort of depressing after a while. If you could tell us, when do you feel the most creative? So anyone who wants to start.
Well, let me go first. Like, I feel most creative when I'm drinking. Let me just get out of the way. Like, you just give me 2 shots and I'm ready.
Okay. Thank you, Tammin.
Okay. For me,
I
writing is
go
a
ahead.
mood thing. So um you hearing me?
Yeah, we weren't hearing you for a moment, but you're back now.
Okay, so I was saying for me, writing is a mood thing, right? And that mood is usually when there is a deviation from the norm. So I write when I'm happy like an idiot, or when I'm when I'm upset, or in some sort of mood. That's when I write. That's when I create.
Ah, okay. So emotion-based writing.
Yes.
Anyone else? Sherika, I think you were going to say?
Yeah, I think I'm more most creative when basically just walking around in nature, seeing that I'm a realistic painter. I get most of my inspiration from outside. Also, I can, while talking to persons, I might get inspired. I can be mid conversation and something just pops into my head. So I think those are the times when I'm most creative.
Okay, thank you. And this question is for you guys again because you
Hold
answered.
on. I want to share mine. I want to share mine. I want to share mine.
Okay. Go ahead.
When am I creative? Actually, or three, because when you asked the question initially, I was like, are you talking about time? And then I was like, when for me is a time, when for me is a place, and when for me is also a mood. And actually, not just one mood. So I'll start with that one. Mood, I am inspired by, so because I do a lot more in dance and movement, I'm inspired by movement. So when I am, I can say, bombarded with by people, almost like it that mood is frustration sometimes. That mood could be some sort of inspiration. And then you also have a mood where I'm extremely happy. I feel good when I'm extremely happy, so I create. And then a place, when I travel, experience new things, I actually find. So outside of home, I don't get much inspiration at home, but outside of home, for me, just going into new spaces. And a time, most of the times, I actually create when I'm in the shower. So when I shower early in the morning or at night. So those are the 2 times where I create, and I think of some of the weirdest things too. That, well, what would be considered weird to many people, but very super creative to others and intriguing to me.
All right. Thank you, Desi. That sounds good. I mean, making use of the idle shower time, when you feel you're not really doing anything. So today I was watching Below Deck.
Can I do mine as well?
Oh, of course.
Pick me, pick me, pick me.
All right, you're chosen.
Yeah, I would like to agree with Desi regarding the shower thing, especially as a singer. I sing in the shower all of the time. That's my happy place. And I also agree with Sharika. I think I create, or my creativity comes alive at the most random times. I could be in a bus and somebody says something real silly or does something really silly, and then I start writing notes down. My notepad on my phone is filled with scribbles that most people will not understand. I don't have a TikTok, but I have a whole list of TikToks that I could do on my phone. And yeah, I think I am least creative when I have some kind of deadline, when I'm under pressure, or I have to try really hard and put on the spot. That's when I'm least creative.
Ah, I see. So, as I was saying, I'm sorry. I was watching Below Deck today, and you know, chefs are also creative types. And he was so upset when the guest didn't like what he made. So I want to ask you, what if people don't like something that you've made, something that you decided, okay, this is my contribution, this is what I'm going to create. What then? And I think I'd like to start with Natasha first.
For me, um, I don't care. It's okay. It's all right. Okay, well, I'm into books, right? I do not like every book that I read. I would not buy science fiction books because I do not like science fiction, right? So some people like fiction, some I love fiction. Some people like nonfiction, some people like bios, some people like self-help books, to each his own. So if you don't like my work, that's okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Natasha, for your response. What about you, Sharika? Because I know, you're dependent on what your customer base feeds off of.
Well, just like Natasha, my field is basically one's expression of themselves. So because I got into the whole art field just so that I can express who I am. I really don't care because whatever I produce, that's coming from me, right? And when I produce my work, I tend to want to that art piece to have, I want people to have a connection to that art piece. And I believe that each piece has its owner. So if you don't like it, somebody's gonna like it out there. Being that I do realism, I think I don't really, when it comes to commissions, people, I haven't experienced someone not liking what I produce because it's always what they give me, I recreate it, and I sometimes, well, most of the time, all of the time actually, I get it pretty accurate to what it's supposed to look like. So I have not experienced somebody not liking what I've done. But if one day somebody doesn't like it, I'm completely fine with that. I can always work along with the client to get it to their satisfaction because that's key. Or something that I produce on my own, I know someone out there is gonna appreciate it no matter what. You're gonna always get somebody coming to you with some kind of negative comment, whether it be constructive or not, it's gonna happen. So I mean, you have to just not care, right? Once you're
Definitely.
doing what you want to do. Yeah.
I'd like to also throw this question at Tevin.
Oh no, everybody like what I do. I'm sorry, I don't know about y'all.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking though. But, I really think though, as Natasha said, like this is my work. This is what I put out. If you don't like it, then that's on you. Like I can't. I mean, I can try to remedy it to try to, make you feel or make the product feel a bit better. But I'm not gonna no.
All right. Okay, thank you, everyone. I think we'll just break now for a short ad break, and we'll be right back.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Okay, thank you everyone for staying with us. Just want to confirm that our guests are still with us. There we go. All right. So we will start with Desi on this question because I find it so fascinating that as a young person, you are the head of your own business and you started your own studio. So, can you tell us about your career path and what led you to the field you're in today? Especially because, Caribbean parents don't usually take careers in the creative industry seriously. You might have a lot of pushback. If you could just tell us about your journey, Desi.
Sure. I started dancing at the age of 7, and a lot of what I do now is actually a manifestation of everything that I believe in, and everything that I have been through. So at the age of 7, when I began dancing in church, I developed a very strong passion for it. I became the youngest dancer to ever teach children. So at age 11, I began teaching a children's group, and at age 11, I was promoted into the adult group at the church because of the skill level that I exhibited. And then I did not get the opportunity to join a dance class per se to receive that formal training in dance until the age of 15, because I was denied entry by one of the, well, few at the time. There were not many dance groups at all on island, but the one that I would have approached with my mom, they would have told my mom no, I wasn't able to participate. And I danced in school. I did cheerleading. I danced as a part of my high school's dance troupe. I I ended up doing theater arts in third form. So I started getting some dance training there. I used YouTube a lot. Very young, so I used YouTube a lot to try to get learn a little bit of skill. So I dabbled in the YouTube university at a very young age. Went into dance classes and excelled. Placed first. Did a lot of really good work. I then, at the age of 17, I approached the Ministry of Culture here to assist me in my request to travel to Jamaica for Edna Manley's summer dance school, where I was able to break through a lot of my insecurities and learn so much more about dance and different dance types, specifically folklore. Introduced or reintroduced to dancehall, because when I did go, I did not like dancehall at all, dancehall music and what it represented. But no, I think I developed a level of appreciation for Caribbean movement so much more having gone to Jamaica, and then came back, did workshops. I kept doing workshops, and that was a thing that I did in the summertime. Every time someone saw me, they would. So my current business, and I'm going back and forth here because it's relevant to my business slogan is to be guided by your passion, power, and purpose. And my business's name is Poise SKN. So before I even thought about having a business, I actually, every time I performed, people would say I was very poised, I was very passionate, I performed with much power, and I knew my purpose. And those are words that have always stuck with me. Now, I went to University of the West Indies, Mona, 2 years after doing Edna Manley Summer Dance School, where I actually hoped to do a double major degree or a major and a minor in dance, but I wasn't able to because the schedules wouldn't allow. So I ended up doing international relations and a minor in business management, and I took lots and lots of dance classes. And with lots of reputable dance companies, Jamaica is a really good place to further your education in dance if you really wanted to in the Caribbean. And at my second year, I was given the opportunity to actually do an internship in international relations, and I was not able to get a placement. So what ended up happening was I took that summer and I spent a week with my grandma in Stacia, which is St. Eustatius, 11 square mile island across from St. Kitts. She had no internet. I walked with many books, and one of them called Creating Creative Communities, which actually helped me to begin to plan what my plan B would be should I not be able to get into foreign affairs, diplomacy, all those nice things that I wanted to do, which would be considered, I guess, a traditional career field. And creative arts was actually a secondary plan because I was good at it. I taught for years and so forth, and I've always dreamt of doing my own thing, but I did not dream of doing it so soon. So I said, if I'm not able to get a job, what am I going to do? And I spent that week, created a business plan, worked tremendously hard on trying to figure out if it would work, did a bit of research, find some niche areas. So we don't just dance and have a dance school per se. We focus a lot on commercial dance, very different to what other dance groups here focus on. So we are able to penetrate the tourism sector, do work with destination management companies, and we have actually also been the first company in the OECS region to actually offer aerial dance. So we do aerial silk and aerial hoop, which is the dance that's suspended from the air. So we have a few dancers that's trained in that. We've done a bit of performances all over the island and in the region. And I offer services in promotional marketing, which again focuses on commercial activity, entertainment. So we do promotional dance. Dancers are young women who dress in promotional attire to help to promote a brand. And we do other things like product distribution and so forth. And then in pageantry, we have a very good success rate. I think we've won almost all of the pageants we've done as it relates to training young women. So in general, my passion for dance and my passion for developing oneself manifested into a movement of trying to instill confidence and promoting growth and mainly focusing, I guess, on the development of young women. Now we have somewhat began to incorporate young men, especially in the promotional marketing area, and offer training. So all of my, I guess I have not spoken much about the disappointments, but a lot of the things that I would have liked to experience as a young woman, or teenager, or child growing up, not being able to enter the space without discrimination, offering, giving people an opportunity to express themselves and not just express themselves because of me, but because of who they are, and be able to be a part of a space that welcomes, I guess, a contribution, because I have not been able to develop in a way that the way that I wanted to as a teenager, especially. So having been, what do you call it? Under the tutelage of quite a few persons, you're not free. You were not as free to express yourself as you would like to, because a lot of the work that I do is actually advocacy as well. So even you asked the question earlier about if people don't like what you do, what's your response to that? But usually I've done dances in dance hall that have offended people so much that they've walked out of my shows, and these kinds of things. So I try as much as possible to use my past, and I've been able to create something that embraces everyone, promotes growth, and allows and teaches people to really be guided by their passion for one purpose.
Okay, thank you, Desi. I mean, that was a lot more inspiring than I thought it would be. So I let you go on a little bit longer than usual. But if you could have a contribution from Joylyn on this question, I think your journey is interesting as well.
Okay, so I followed the traditional path initially, mostly as a way to get myself and my family, I don't want to say out of poverty, but let's just say we were living paycheck to paycheck. My mom, she worked really hard. She was a single mom. She always told my brother and I, I really can't afford to pay for you guys to go to university. In fact, I remember when the deadline for CXCs arrived, I was at girls' high school and I was at the bottom of the staircase that leads to the staff room, and I was crying because I just found out that my parents couldn't come up with the money, and I was like, "Today's the day, guys! Today's the day, and I have to do my CXCs." So, we struggled sometimes, and I my mom always pushed us to work really hard. So my brother and I, we both ended up being island scholars, and I, although I never saw myself sitting behind a computer desk, communicating with a computer all day, I just had this thought in my mind that I had to get my family to a better place, and I had to buy a house for my mom, and I wanted to do all of these things. And I thought maybe the creative route was a bit risky. But unfortunately, my mom passed away on my final year of my studies. And when that happened, I kind of had to reevaluate myself. It was just my brother and I. Um, I, I, it's sad to say, but honestly, I almost stopped living then. I didn't want to be around. And I had to make a decision. How was I going to spend my life? Am I going to keep programming, something I wasn't really a fan of? I didn't like it at all. But it's, at the time, it was what everyone said to study. Programming, IT is the future, right? So I finished my degree and I got a regular job, and I would go to work every day and do the same old thing. And I don't know when it clicked. I think I was around 25. I'm 30 now. I think it was just meant to be. I worked in Canon One. I worked in the HR department, and I would always sing at my desk. Eventually, my manager was like, "Girl, you need to let these people know that you can sing." And believe it or not, I put it off for a whole year. Around the time I was transferred to another department, the company went from having 400 employees to 100. So I moved to another department that needed help. And I didn't like it. I worked in the maintenance department. It wasn't fun. And it was at that point where I decided to interview, I auditioned at the hotel, and they hired me. They hired me at the Mandarin Oriental, and I was also hired at TBH, which is now, I think, Soho House. Eventually, I started making more, singing 4 nights a month than I was at my regular job. So I didn't like it anyway. I decided I was going to quit. I quit my job. I moved to New York. I did some work there with some producers. I got a manager, and the rest is history. I don't regret it. Things were going really well until this pandemic started, I've got to say. But I have no regrets. I'm living a more fulfilled life. I get to reach people and heal people through music, and I feel like this is what I was meant to be doing.
Okay, thank you, Joy. And I feel like I see Sharika bouncing, but I'm not sure if it's Sharika or Natasha I'm seeing. Do either one of you want to share, or should I Seven?
Well, I can share. Well, my experience will have always been the girl that drew. Since my days in convent, everybody knew me as that girl. And I was a lover of art from a very young age. After leaving convent, I went ahead to community college, and I did fine arts out there, visual arts actually, under the guidance of Vonnie Rudette. I'm going to say Vonnie Rudette changed my entire life, because although I loved art as a whole, my mind just opened up even more. She introduced us to look at a life on a broader spectrum. So there I fell in love with art, but I also got sidetracked into the field of fashion while I was at community college. And I actually got an opportunity to go to Miami Fashion Week with one of my peers as a young designer. And I got to design a few pieces and show them there. Right there, I was kind of bitten by the fashion bug, and I said, yeah, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And I decided that I was going to go off to study fashion design. So when I got to Canada now, I entered doing fashion design. And my first semester, I was like, what am I doing? I loved it, but I didn't have a passion for it. And then I felt like I was stuck in a box. I wasn't going anywhere. Like I was being told what to design. Basically, I didn't have that creative freedom. I remember it was a friend and we were partners in the class, and she had an art background as well. She was more into graphic illustration. And one day we were having lunch, and then we passed by the fine arts department, and they were having an open house. So we decided to pop in to see what it was about. And as soon as I opened the door, I was like, this is home. Like, this is where I belong. And my mom, she would always say, like, Shika, you're an artist. Like, what are you doing in fashion design? My mother, she was always supportive of me, no matter what I wanted to do. She was always down. So I never got that parental pushback, like you were talking about, Maurice. So I just went there and I said, you know what? I need to be here. This is where I belong. And I remember going the next day and making an appointment with the dean. And he said to me, he's like, Sharika, this program is so difficult to get into. Like, you're at second semester coming up. Like, how are you going to get into the program? So I was like, I had to be like, please just give me a chance. Like, I needed to be there. And he said, okay, I'm gonna take a chance on you, and I'm gonna let you transfer from fashion to fine arts. And from there, I just flew, and I think that was God calling me or something. And then it was like, at the end of the whole thing, I was offered a job to work at the school. I was like top in the class. They kept my work for references. So like, if you go there now, my work's still there. And, you know, it was good because for me, like, I was the only Black Caribbean student out of 80 something Canadians. And, you know, and it was just humbling. And I was so grateful for that experience. Although now I would tell people, for fine arts, you don't have to go ahead and get that degree especially if you're living in St. Vincent. I mean, there's so much inspiration here in the Caribbean. I think unless you want that, either like a teaching job or you want one of those kind of degree-based jobs, like I won't pressure someone to go ahead and focus studies on that, because it's also quite expensive to study fine arts, but it's still worth it. If you want to do it, I would say go ahead and do it because the experience is amazing. So now what happened is that although I got offered that job, I decided to come back and develop art in St. Vincent, because St. Vincent, I don't think art is as appreciated here as it should be, or as it is in the other islands of the Caribbean. So I came here to, like, you know, we have so much talent. The young people here in St. Vincent, it's ridiculous. And when I came back, I started teaching at the primary level because there wasn't any positions for me in the secondary level. That's where I wanted to, you know, get my knowledge out. And I started doing like CXC classes on the side, or whoever came to me for help. And, you know, and then I just fell into doing fine arts as a full-time thing because it picked up, and then, you know, everybody wanted portraits, and then it got a little crazy, and then I just decided to quit teaching as a steady job and then do the fine arts as a full-time career. And then that's it. That's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Sharika. And now we'll break again for some ads.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Get Down to Business. And I have a question for Natasha and Tevin. Apologies if you're hearing any feedback. It's horrendously hot. Could you tell us about some projects you are working on?
I didn't answer the last question.
Oh, you want to? Oh, apologies. Okay, go ahead.
Sure.
So the last question was what was it again? Sorry.
We were asking about the career path that you've taken so far and how it has.
Okay, so I'll begin by saying that I studied geography and environmental management. But sometimes life happens. I wanted to do stuff in environmental management, but like I said, life happens. And at one point in my life, I was severely depressed. I was swimming around in sorrow. I was broken and broke. And I had difficulties in coping with life. And I think that was when I found out that I could play with words. So that was when I found writing, or I guess writing found me, or I guess we found each other. So in 2011, I wrote When Silence Speaks. Sorry, When Silence Speaks was published in 2011. And the year after that, I did Memoirs of a Teacher, right? I consider those two pieces as my trial pieces. In 2018, I published Plastered and Pretty with House of Nehesi. So Plastered and Pretty is my last publication thus far. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And Tevin, what about you? What project are you working on? Any new projects, or do you have any that you've completed recently? Because I know you were big on the scene with your t-shirt, which to me is pretty unusual, So.
But I'm actually working on styling right now,
Okay.
That's something I'm going into at the moment, like styling and so on. But I'm going to have to be in black because it took a 2 year, we're going to be 2 years soon. I took a 2 year break. I'll be back on September 7th.
Okay, and what are you bringing back for us?
Well, you gotta see. You gotta wait till 27 to see.
All right, so we'll stay tuned on Instagram.
Yep.
All right, so I think we have an audience comment from Shikania Small. She's saying I think it's in reference to your comments, Natasha. She's saying it's amazing how art or creative expression can heal a person. And she says, thank you, ladies, for sharing your experiences. Guys, we have about 20 minutes left in the program. So if anyone in the audience has any comments or questions, please be sure to drop them. We have another question. What do you enjoy most about the work you do? What are you most excited about right now? So I think I want to throw that question at Desi because she's not exactly in our space. And yeah.
What do I like the most about the work that I do? I think what I like the most is the impact. I think we sometimes take for granted how impactful the work that we do can be on an individual, whether it's not just an individual, but a group of people. Because like I said, a lot of the work that I do also includes advocacy. And I'll give you an example. One of the first recitals that I did, or showcases, if you would say, was called Dance Therapy. And it actually focused on bringing awareness to 7 of the most, they're not all chronic illnesses, but 7 health issues that plague our society, such as hypertension, diabetes, lupus, women's reproductive health, and so forth. And we were able to give statistics, and it actually focused on myths and facts. So myths about some of these issues and facts, and it included statistics and how we were heavily impacted. And persons would have been able to learn more about how these diseases impact us, and not just physically, but also emotionally. And we looked a lot as well at mental illnesses. Then on another occasion, we did a show called Woke, which actually focused on how much we allow our devices to control us. So, like our phones and laptops, and how important it is to tune out of that, especially for our mental health. And we would have the writer and I who the writer, her name is Gian Williams. So I conceptualized some of these things, or put together the content in terms of the songs that we're going to use, the issues we want to focus on, and she would actually also conceptualize and write the productions in terms of a script. We would have support cast and so forth, and she created let's say Control Alt Delete, where we had to control the way we think, control what we consume, alter the way we think, and delete the negative things to our space so that we can function in a positive way. And that when I see the way people react to the work that we do, when I see the way people are inspired by, sometimes, I mean, a lot of people call it stealing, but when we trend set and you have persons wanting to do the things that we do, are inspired to do something of their own because of the things that we do. That's my favorite part. I always explain and describe not just dance, but creativity and creative output as a social experience. And so having and experiencing the impact, being told about the impact that we have on others, that's definitely for me my favorite part.
Thank you, Desi and Desi. And I think I'd also like to hear from Sherika not Sherika, because we have a question from the audience that I wanted to throw at Sherika. Someone is asking whether St. Vincent would benefit from having an arts gallery. So I thought that might be more up your alley.
Okay, so we actually have an art gallery. I'm actually the curator for that art gallery. But since the volcano, the gallery space is now being used as something else. Like I said, art in St. Vincent isn't really, up there as priority. So I guess that it's kind of had to take a back seat. And it's unfortunate for all the artists that was displaying there. I mean, it was an opportunity to have it was a good platform for artists to display the work that Vinci has to offer. I cannot say what's gonna become of the gallery, but St. Vincent will benefit from a good gallery. Like I said before, we have a lot of talented artists here. We just need somewhere that our artwork could be seen by Vincentians. I think we only pay attention to a few artists that have the connections to be seen out there, and I don't think everybody has that equal opportunity. Unless, like me, I had to take social media and promote myself outside of St. Vincent. And I've done workshops where I've taught people how to do that and how to grow your business on social media. But I would love to see a set gallery just come out of the works and like give young Vincentian talents an opportunity to show themselves. So yes, we would benefit because it's gonna open us up to the outside world, and a lot of people, it's gonna bring money into the country because a lot of people is gonna request the arts that's coming from here. We have good talent here, I'm telling you, like good artists here. So I hope we can get a good art gallery.
Could you tell us about the name and the location? Because I think some audience members may be unfamiliar.
Okay, so like I said, right now, as of now, the space is being used for something else currently. So if I tell you and you go there tomorrow, you're not gonna see artwork on a wall per se, but it's the National Gallery of the Arts, and it's in Montrose. It's directly opposite Nemo's office. So yeah. There's also Crafters Cove, which is a craft market up there as well, which is open. So if you'd like to go and get your craft, you can go ahead and get craft up there because they should be open.
Well, maybe you guys can set us up on a virtual tour, and then that way we'll be able to accommodate the pandemic in the future. Yeah.
Sure.
Have another question, but before that, we'll actually have to take another break.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Okay, and we are back in our final segment. Thank you everyone for sticking with us tonight. We have another audience question from Jesus Property. He's saying, it's been said that art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. My question is, what inspires you to push even when you're not recognized? What connection do you all have to your art? So I figure he would like everyone to answer the question, and we will start with Natasha and move our way down.
What if you're not recognized, and what is your what?
What connection you have to your art? So maybe you can expand on your connection, or what inspired you?
When I wrote Plastered and Pretty, I decided that I wanted a Caribbean publisher. So I published, I submitted my manuscript, and it was accepted by House of Nehesi in St. Martin. And that afforded me the privilege and the opportunity to go to regional book fairs. I launched Plastered and Pretty in Montserrat, in Anguilla, and also at the St. Martin Book Fair. I met a lot of interesting people. I met Alice Walker, famous Alice Walker, author of The Color Purple, etc. I was able to attend master classes and workshops, and Plastered and Pretty was featured in Liat, in Face Magazine in USA. The cover of Plastered and Pretty won a graphic design. Can't even remember what year, but by having a publisher, my work was really pushed. Plastered and Pretty was really, really pushed. So I cannot complain. So for me, is having a publisher, is working with a publisher, which is currently the House of Nehesi, St. Martin. So I'm encouraging other writers who haven't published as yet to publish in the Caribbean.
Just a quick question. So I can purchase your book on Kindle, or do I have to purchase a physical copy? And if so,
my book is, where's the, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can I purchase it in an ebook format?
I didn't hear the question.
Do I have to purchase your book in person?
I do not have ebooks. It's sold at Games Bookstore in St. Vincent, and it's also available online. I really can't remember the link right now, but I have a page on Facebook, Plastered and Pretty.
All
So the
right.
information would be on Plastered and Pretty Facebook page.
Thank you. And Sherka, your turn. Please remember to keep your
Welcome.
answers brief, everyone.
Can you kind of repeat the question? Just so I can be
The
sure.
question was about the connection you have to your art, and if you're not recognized, what inspires you to push?
Okay, so I still think my goal isn't really to be this recognized artist. I'm very, I'm an introvert. So, but I mainly push my work out there. People who know me know me. I have an overseas uh audience, and it's like I just do my work for the love of it. It's also good to make money from it, and it does well. But what made me, I just have this passion for art. It's always been with me. So that's my driving force, the passion that I have for it. With each of my pieces, even though they're realistic pieces, I always tell people it's super creative. It's a very creative process, because what I do is I take realistic objects and then I almost, you can say, a collage. I collage them together to create a completely different story. So that's the connection that I have with my artwork. I call them my children. I always say, like, when I visit one of my pieces again, it's like me seeing my kids again, and it's always a moment. But that's how I'm connected to my pieces. It's very difficult to let go each one of them. That's what pushes me. That passion that I have, that individual connection that I create with the pieces itself, that's what pushes me to go.
Okay, thank you. Desi, Joy, do you want to take a stab at the question?
Um, uh, I will say that music saved me. Like I said earlier, music literally saved me. Um, and for that reason, I don't need recognition. Yes, I've had some success in my career so far. I had an opportunity to sing at the Royal Palace in Thailand. And I also met with major record labels in the US, which scared me, knowing that these people wanted to own me and my image and who I am. And to be honest, some things are more important than money and fame. For me personally, everybody's different. But like I said, the way my mom's death impacted me, I prefer connections, connecting with people and healing people through my art. And that's what's most important.
All right. So, like I said previously, I am impact driven. So, it's what keeps me going. So, right now, I'm not really, how I practice my art by teaching and sharing my art. So, I teach children and young adults, and I also coach women in creativity and in creative spaces. I do a lot of creative conceptualization and connecting with my art and sharing with others, or I guess you could say connected. They're bound together. They are not separate and apart in my world at all. So that's kind of how I stick with it. Getting recognition overseas isn't really, I don't want to say it's not important, but it's not what drives me. I've gotten a few awards. I've gotten recognized by lots and lots of institutions, organizations, international spaces, but it doesn't it doesn't change how I feel about working with others and impacting others through art and seeing them become not just more creative, but seeing them become more expressive in their real life and taking what I teach them and share with them in space outside of that space and grow and interact with others and so forth. So that's it for me. It has nothing to do with recognition at all.
Okay. And you, Tevin?
What's the question again? Sorry.
What drives you?
What drives me?
If so, for instance, if you release a design and it's not recognized, what motivates you?
Well, I mean, just designing motivates me and styling and everything. And that. I mean, I don't think I need like a push or something. I feel like just it's in me, so I just do it really. I don't like kind of like
Okay.
yeah, I don't do too much.
All right. And our final question. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Now we're gonna start with Tevin. And I want to encourage you all to, if you have any up and coming projects that you need to push, let us know. Let us know where to find you. It's your last 5 minutes, and keep your answers brief. So we're aiming for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, if you can do that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So in 10 to 5 years, I see myself like styling for magazines. At least 2 stores in Kingstown. Hopefully another store regionally. Hopefully, let's hope and let's really get on and work to it. Um, but we want to focus on styling right now because I think that's like my strong point at this time because I know how things are supposed to look and just my idea of things, that kind of difference. Just to add a little touch and a little sparks to it. That's what I see myself doing though in the next 10 to 5 years.
All right. Jesse?
In the next 10 to 5 years, I am hoping that, of course, SKN would have been able to expand and create what I am calling the Creative Center. We do not have a performing arts center in St. Kitts and Nevis. We don't really have that many performing arts spaces, and I want to create one, and I am making the moves to do so currently. So that's what I'm hoping to see happen in the next few years for me.
Joy?
Okay, so I don't think I can answer this question in 30 seconds. So I will say that I would like to mentor young musicians on maybe how they can make a career out of this. On a smaller scale. And I'll also use this opportunity to plug the fact that I have a virtual concert coming up with my 4-piece band. We're a funk pop band. And yeah, we're hoping that that launches in the next 2 weeks. And you can find me at Joy Paris on Instagram.
Thank you, Joy.
Sure.
Natasha?
Well, apart from the obvious of being alive and having good health and strength and in sound mind, I intend to continue writing. I have a new publication coming soon. It's coming soon. I intend to write and publish and hopefully, who knows, get up an international bestseller. That's it.
Oh, me, well, I am content with where I am right now. I would just like to keep doing what I do. I keep painting, keep pushing art. Really, I would really love to see art in St. Vincent get recognized as what it's supposed to be. I'd like there to be more opportunities for young artists out there. I'd like for, businesses to encourage these young people to get into the arts, parents to encourage these young people to get into the arts. We can't all be lawyers and doctors. And there's a lot of creatives that get stifled out at the secondary level and told that, you can't make a living from art. But that is so far from true. Art is not just painting and drawing. Everything you see, you can't have houses without an artist to design in the beginning. You can't have clothes without an artist to design. So, art is a broad spectrum. And I just wish that visual art is, pushed more the next 5 to 10 years, hopefully sooner than that. That's what I'd like.
Thank you, everyone, for agreeing to be a part of the program tonight. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. And as a thank you to everyone who tuned in, we'll have our last audience comment from Kai Delpush. He says, to be honest, St. Vincent has a lot of young talent. They just need the recognition, an opportunity, and the chance to express themselves. Okay, and with that, we'd like to say good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And this is Let's Get Down to Business from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everyone.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.